Hi friends. You know, the time to prepare for a hurricane is not in the middle of the hurricane. A time to prepare for whatever event is not during that event. And so for investors, the time to prepare for recession is not in the middle of recession. But as we've stated time and time again, we are not in a recession. There has been no recession in 2022. By no economic or technical standard has 2022 been a recession. Now, we have also stated multiple times that we believe it's possible and maybe even likely that the economy enters recession in the next 24 to 30 months with no certainty, but we haven't had an economic-based recession since the 08-09 crisis. We are well overdue. The average time between recessions is roughly 6 years. So we're well overdue for that. But just like a vine dresser or a vineyard tenant comes and prunes the grape grapevines and vineyards to ultimately produce better wine over time, the same thing is true economically. Recessions, when they're prepared for, are actually a really healthy part of a long-term, growing, successful economic platform. So, what investments do well in recession? Well, the first part is probably easier to answer. What does not do well during recession? And two areas of the market really jump out. Number one is growth-oriented investments and companies. So when you buy an investment or you buy a company or a sector of the market, you're not buying past results. You're buying the expectation of future results. So when we're in a recession or leading up right before a recession, those forward-looking growth companies, the future gets bleak sort of in the immediate term. So growth-oriented investments, which have done extremely well, and I would say historically and abnormally well over the last decade or so, growth-oriented investments do not perform well as an asset class in a recession because of the forward outlook in the immediate term. The second area of the market that does not perform well during recession is what we would call consumer discretionary, or think about discretionary spending, discretionary income, whether that be luxury items or whether that be items at like Best Buy, retailers, right? Those areas of the market do not do well. Again, we've seen those areas of the market, except for the last 6 months, do extremely well the last several years. So growth-oriented companies and sectors, and discretionary spending or non-essential spending. And quite frankly, we have seen families, even recently in the last 30 to 60 days, as we've brought on new families as clients, we've seen an overwhelming number of them be concentrated in those areas. And so the time to prepare, rotating out of those, is not when you're in a recession, which we are not, but it's before, as a preparation tool. So let's flip that coin on its side and say, what sectors of the market tend to perform the best? Oil and gas, utilities, commodities, food, real estate. Think about it. If the sky is falling down, what does every family need? Food, shelter, energy, and gas in their car. They got to go to work. They have to move around. They got to keep the lights on, electricity flowing. They've got to have a roof over their head, and they've got to have things to eat. So commodities, real estate, sectors of the market around consumer essentials, right? So essential items that you have to have. Metals, precious metals, things that are backed by actual assets, so tangible goods. These sectors do very well. They hold up well during difficult recessionary times. So food, shelter, oil and gas, and energy, utility companies, consumer essentials, metals. These 5 or 6 sectors have a long-standing historical track record of doing well. And as smart money, that's what they call institutional investors, smart money began overly allocating to these sectors last year. And so we've already begun a much larger transition over the summer into sectors just like this, not because we believe we're about to fall off a recessionary cliff, but because, again, the time to stock for food and water before a hurricane is not when the weatherman comes on and says, hurricane is off the coast. So the question I would have for you, if you're not a client of ours, is your portfolio ready for the next 12, 24 to 36 months? Because I can tell you, our opinion is the next 12, 24, 36 months looks nothing like the last 12, 24, 36 months. Making sure your portfolio is ready and is allocated not where the ball is, but where we believe it's going. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.